Judiciary Act of 1789 was one of the first acts passed by Congress, and it was made to create the judicial branch to set up a Supreme Court and federal court systems. It states that the Supreme Court should have 6 members, that they can settle disputes between states, and that all their decisions are final. It also set up 13 lower district courts. It established the office of Attorney General, and John Jay became the first Chief Justice of the United States. Why is this act important? The creation of the Judiciary Act met the interests of both the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Instead of using the British idea of a court system, the Founding Fathers created their own ways for an ideal court system. Instead of going to a new country and having the same government as before, they had their own new government, freedom, and rights. What is it? The Judiciary Act of 1789 is a law that created the judicial branch of the federal government. Provided in the law is the number of the members in the Supreme Court and the number of lower district courts. Also inside the law is the idea that the Supreme Court can settle disputes between states and the idea that a decision made by the Supreme Court is final. Who created it? The Judiciary Act of 1789 was created by the first Congress operating under the Constitution. Why was it important? This act was important because it created the federal judicial system. The federal judicial system exists to fairly interpret and apply the law, resolve controversies, and most importantly, protect the liberties and rights stated in the Constitution. How has it transformed? One thing that transformed is the size of the Supreme Court. The Judiciary Act of 1789 originally set the number of Supreme Court justices at 6. In 1801, the federal controlled Congress agreed to change the number of seats from 6 to 5. In 1866, the number of seats changed from a current number of 10 to 7. Throughout many years, the number increased and decreased. In 1869, Congress made it a final decision to raise the number of Supreme Court justices from 7 to 9. It has been fixed that way ever since. Supreme Court case. Who? William Marbury versus James Madison. What? The argument of whether or not part of the Judiciary Act of 1789 was unconstitutional. When? February 11th to February 24th, 1803. How has the Judiciary Act transformed over the years? The Act of 1981 had 3 main provisions. First, it transferred the most federal trials to the district courts. The circuit courts continued holding some trials out of tradition, but lost all power to hear appeals. Congress eventually eliminated the circuit courts of 1911. Second, the Act created 9 new circuit courts of appeals, 1 for each of the country's 9 circuits. Each circuit court of appeals contained 2 circuit judges and 1 district judge. They had the power to hear almost all appeals from the district and circuit courts. In most cases, the decision by the circuit court of appeal was responsibilities of the Supreme Court. Under the Act, the Supreme Court was required to hear only certain kinds of appeals from the district and circuit courts. Brown versus Board of Education. In 1950, schools were segregated, and Linda Brown and her family believed that the segregated school system violated the 14th Amendment and took their case to court. Federal District Court decided that because all black schools and all white schools had similar buildings, transportation, curricula, and teachers, that the segregation was legal. The Browns appealed their case to the Supreme Court, stating that even if the facilities were similar, segregated schools could never be equal to one another. The court decided that state laws requiring separate but equal schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Basically, what you need to know to sum it up is the Judiciary Act is the act that created 3 levels of federal courts and defined their powers in relationship to the state courts. It set up federal districts, set up circuit court appeals, and president nominates federal judges.